just so the editor knows who you are, could you tell us your name, your job title, and the company you represent?
Sure. Russell Steele, CEO, Port Madison Enterprises.
And how do you spell your last name?
Steele.
All right, and we're also doing a film called The CEOs of Seattle.
Okay.
So we might ask you some leadership questions along the way.
Sure.
When you were a little kid, what did you aspire to be when you grew up?
Oh, I wanted to be a baseball player. And I actually, later in life, I went to a fantasy camp, so I sort of accomplished it.
Who was your childhood heroes?
Oh, Hank Aaron, by far in baseball anyway. I actually got to meet Hank.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Nice guy.
Now, what kind of business was your parents in?
My dad was a railroad engineer, and my mother was a secretary for the school district for years, so in Seattle and other areas. Actually, she was the secretary to the principal at my high school. So I always got caught on my Ferris Bueller days off.
Everybody knew. Now, how did you get to where you are today? What were some of the turning points in your life that got you to become into a leadership role?
Well, I worked for several hotel and restaurant and some casino around the country, trains. Worked my way up, started actually as a dishwasher out of college, and worked my way into management positions after being on the food side as a waiter and a maitre d' for years. And I was fortunate. I had a couple really great mentors. Dick Sipes, who was a hotel director in upstate New York that I worked for. Dick was also a musician, so he was entertaining to be around and very inspirational. And I worked for a gentleman by the name of Frank James in Sacramento. And Frank I still keep in touch with. He's retired, but Frank was all about common sense and doing the right thing, and I was fortunate to get to know Frank. So,
how did you get involved with this organization here?
I opened Quinault Beach Resort Casino, and this opportunity came along, and I came over here in 2001. So I've been here a little over 8 years.
Can you tell us a little bit about this organization and some of the big picture? What is it all about, and how many people and locations?
Well, in that time period from 2001 to today, we've grown from about 260 employees to over 760. We've multiplied our lines of businesses. At that time, we had a bingo hall and a casino and a tent and one gas station. Today, we have the casino and the resort, which you can see behind us. We have Kiana Lodge, which is just across the bay here. We have 3 convenience stores. We have a property management division, Agapass Business Park, and several other pieces of property that we have future plans for growth.
We might move your chair over just about two inches there to get that little shadow. There
How's that?
That's a little better, yeah.
Sure.
Now, can you talk a little bit about the culture of your organization and some of the values that are important to you and your organization?
Well, we and this is interesting. This kind of started haphazardous almost, but one of the philosophies here is make it so. Everybody has the opportunity to do the right thing and make it happen, much like Captain Picard, I guess. And that sort of started when we built the casino, which was pretty fast-paced, but it was also a very emotional, rewarding experience for those of us that went through that transition from being in a tent into a new facility. And I distinctly remember one of the comments by one of our directors, our security director, after we opened the opening night, in fact, was, "We've done this, and now we can do anything." And that's still sort of the philosophy here. We're pretty confident that we can. We're in a recession right now, but our business continues to grow. So we're very humbled by that and pleased by that at the same time.
As the organization grows, how do you bring the new people onto your culture and your philosophy and values?
Well, we have a couple programs that we have. We have a supervisor training program. In fact, there's a class that just started this week. I believe it's 13 weeks that individuals that have the opportunity to become supervisors or who have been promoted and they need training in that area. So that's an active program, and that happens a couple times a year. We have an internship program where we take tribal members and we send them to universities of their choices We just had 2 students graduate from that program, and they've come back here and they're now employed here. One is the operations manager and the other one is a pit manager. And then we have a new program that starts here in a couple of weeks through Olympic College called the Gaming Management Certificate Program, and that's a 50-week program in segments of 7 weeks with different instructors and I believe they get 15 hours of college credit to expose them to other aspects of the gaming industry that they're not involved with in their present day-to-day positions, and that'll also get them in a position for future promotions. We also provide all our tribal members 8 hours a week education leave, and it doesn't matter whether it's vocational school or whether it's college or anything of that nature. They get 8 hours paid to go do those events. For example, we have one individual that's been working on getting his helicopter pilot license. He's actually got his training license, now he's working on his instrument license. So, and there's other people taking advantage of this program too.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It's exciting, actually.
Now, different CEOs that we've been talking to, they have different philosophies as far as management style. Some believe real strict, like the stick type management, and some are like real easygoing managers and management style. How do you describe the way your philosophy on managing people?
Well, that might depend on who you talk to, to be honest. I like to think, especially with the line employees, that they can talk to me about anything, that I'll listen to them and take their ideas, and I think more importantly, follow up on them. If they have a concern, I feel like I have an obligation and the management team has an obligation to address those needs. And then I may give them an answer they don't like, but at least I've honored that commitment. I'm a firm believer that you need to be there when the fish are swimming, so to speak. You can't catch salmon unless you're there when they're running. So this occupation for all of us involves working nights, weekends, holidays, and for some people that's a major adjustment. I'm also I'm a firm believer in managing the bottom line, but also you've got to not only listen to your employees, you got to listen to your customers. And we have customer focus groups. We have one that's just made up of employees. In fact, they meet today, I believe, at 4 o'clock, and they do field trips to other casinos. And then we have one that consists of guests, and they meet on a regular monthly basis too. And they're pretty honest and frank with us. They'll tell us the good, the bad, and the things that aren't so good. So, and that's good. We need to hear those things to grow. So,
what do you think differentiates your organization compared to other casino hotels around the country? You think what makes this one different?
Well, one, we have a unique location. We also have what I consider a special culture here with the tribe. I mean, Chief Seattle's gravesite's just a mile from where we're sitting right now, and the tribe has done quite a few things culturally to rediscover and reestablish some of their things that we bring it into the workplace. I think, and I hear this constantly from guests, especially people that have never been here before, that our employees as a whole really go out of their way to provide customer service and make this a unique experience for them. So, and I think that continually brings people back. And while we've been in a recession, our business is growing. So I think that speaks to the employees' efforts.
Now they say that Joe Torre, the baseball manager, said that character comes out. You learn more about a person's character during the tough, defining moments of
Most definitely.
tough times versus the easygoing times. Can you talk about the character of your team and your organization, you think?
Well, I think, in fact, I told April a little bit of this story last night at a function we were at. We went through a real transition when we were opening this place, and in the midst of opening it, we also took a Dale Carnegie leadership training course. And openings alone are enough to occupy all their time, but we actually did 2 sessions a week. And what it told me about the staff, we took the time to go through that transition plus the opening, but that time brought us closer together because we got to know things about each other that we hadn't previously known, and it was pretty open and honest and a lot of sharing. I think that speaks well to the team. We do 2 or 3 annual meetings with all the employees. We're doing department head retreats quarterly now. In fact, we just had Max Strong here to do a sort of a team building exercise, which was interesting and quite enjoyable. Max did an excellent job, and we're constantly doing things like that.
He's a good guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, we did the video biography of Jim Zorn for his family, and he did a great job. Yeah, Mac.
And Mac did that for him?
Well, no, we did it for Jim.
Ah.
Well, I interviewed Mac though for that film. So.
Did you?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's great.
Now
His wife's great too, Zoe.
he has some great stories about him, Jim Zorn.
Oh, I'll have to ask him some of those.
Now, the Puget Sound Business Journal, is that a publication that you ever read?
Oh, I read it every week. Yep, most definitely.
What are you looking for when you go in there?
Well, I look for what's happening in the marketplace, what's new, what is transition, and they keep me informed on some statistics on some things that are critical to my business. So they do a real good job of that.
Now, the Northwest and the Puget Sound area, do you think there's anything unique about the culture here to run a business versus Chicago, Denver, Miami, someplace else in the country? Is there anything unique about this area around here to own and run a business, you think?
Well, one is the climate. It's certainly not as extreme. In fact, I just coming down here, I ran into a lady who was getting on the elevator, and I'm going, oh, it's a nice day. She's certainly nicer than where I come from. It turns out she's from Florida. So, and I think that has, it's pretty easy around here to step away from the day-to-day life and get back to nature pretty quick. And I think that's a real advantage. And I think it adds to all the citizens within the state. They have a sense of the value of all that. So that makes it unique in itself. I think people are pretty grounded here, which I've always appreciated. I spent a good part of my career, almost 30 years, working out of the state when I got out of college, and I didn't realize how much I missed it till I came back.
Now, for a lot of kids in America today, the old days, you ask them what they want to be when they grow up, they would say a fireman or a police officer.
Right.
But a lot of them say CEO someday.
We have a couple kids here, actually, that want to do that. One in particular. So, and I'm encouraging him to do that. We're putting him on a training program. So.
If you were talking to a little 13-year-old kid that says, I want to be a CEO someday at your job, what kind of advice would you give them?
I would advise, because it certainly helped me, you need to, early in your career, have an appreciation for the back of the house and the line staff and what they have to do day to day. If you don't get that perspective, then you don't know really what's going on in the facility. I mean, I still know what it's like to work in a dish pit. I still know what it's like to be on the floor of a restaurant, floor of a casino, the bar. It's because that's where the action is. That's where it all happens, and you need that perspective, I think. So when you're making decisions or judgments, you can keep that in the back of your head.
Back in the 80s, Tom Peters talked about the idea of managing by walking around.
Mm-hmm.
You still do that?
Oh yeah. In fact, we do regular. We have an MOD on every night. They have to do an MOD report, which is walking around. We do what I call walkabouts, which are physical inspections of all the properties. About every other month we do that, and then I visit all our sites every week. So, and it's one of the things I appreciate about here. If I haven't seen something, the employees will come forward and tell me about it. So, so we'll address it and we'll take care of it.